Hello everyone, I'm all wrapped up nice and cozy in my blanket, but this message had to go out. I was talking today to my sister, and we was having a good reasoning. I was talking about Potiphar. We was talking about Joseph and his journey and what he had went through. And I said, you know what? It came to me like God wanted me to put this out, because my body, as we were speaking, my body was just running cold. So I said, this has to go out. So, okay, many of us know Joseph, and we know that Joseph's father gave him a coat of many colors. Now, remember, the coat had all the colors of the rainbow. And remember, the rainbow means promise. It means a covenant. It means an agreement. And remember, Joseph's father gave him that coat of many colors. But when his brother had deceived him, after Joseph had told him their dream, they plotted and deceived him without the father not knowing, neither the mother not knowing what happened to Joseph. Now, when they had deceived him, they were going to kill him, but their conscience says, no. So they put him in a pit for him to literally die. But God is so good that instead he went into slavery. So instead of him being in that pit, rotting, dying, literally of starvation, not being seen again, God made a way that he was able to go into slavery instead, that he could still have a chance of life, that he could still have a chance of seeing people, interacting with people, even though he was a slave, but he was still being able to interact with people, going through his journey. So this is going through your journey. You know, you're not stuck, you're not trapped, but you're going through your journey. God is making a way through that journey for you. It's not easy, it's not hard, because remember, he was in slavery, so it wasn't easy. You know, it was hard, but guess what? God was carrying him through it. He was gliding him through it, you know? And when the brothers went back to the father, what did they do? They killed an animal and they put the blood upon that coat to show that he had been killed. Now, God was showing me that when they put the blood upon that coat and showing he was killed, that was like a representation of sacrifice. They had sacrificed him for their own selfish need, for their pride, for their jealousy, for their envy, for their greed. So when they showed, thinking that, okay, they're sacrificing for the promise, because the blood was put upon the coat. So they're sacrificing for what? The promise. But instead, God made a way for Joseph, even though they thought he would have died, but God made a way for him. So he ended up at Potiphar's house, which is the god for Pharaoh, the head of God for Pharaoh. Ended up at his house, starts to doing his accounting and everything. Potiphar saw that he was smart, he was reliable, so he put him in head of everything. Now the wife was lusting after him. So you see, sometimes you're near your promise, you're doing your purpose, you're doing your destiny, and you have these people that are there just waiting. Now listen to me. When you are there on your purpose, on your promise, the devil's going to come with his illusion of distraction, his illusion of luring you away, options. Is illusions of options to lure you away from what your promise, from your possibility, from your purpose, from the covenant, the agreement that God has had with you, that he's gonna give you abundance. So the devil comes now lurking with his options. Potiphar's wife came, have an adultery, have an affair with me, and I will do this for you. Joseph saw the fear of God came upon Joseph. He wasn't even thinking about himself. He was just thinking about God. In other words, he's just thinking about the agreement that he made with God and that he could not break that agreement. Now, many of us, we're going to be breaking those agreements. Many of us will break it. But God is such a merciful God. He always has a way to turn it into something good. As long as you are willing to humble yourself with a pure heart, not say, oh God, I'm sorry. And you know in your heart, because remember, God read the heart, you can't hide from God, So if you're going to go to God, you better go to him good. Go to him good and proper, because he see right through your heart. So if you're going to say, oh God, I'm sorry. No. With puppy tears, they call it in England, puppy tears. Puppy tears, he see right through that, okay? So you better go to him good. So guess what now? Some of us go to God. Cry unto him. Catch yourself quickly before you get any deeper or you sink any deeper, because it's hard to get out. Okay. So Joseph, what did Joseph do? Joseph run, leave his clothes. Now, God, the Bible says he left his clothes. Many of us, God was showing me that leaving his clothes was a representation that he didn't care about. He didn't care about his materialistic things that he would gain if he had been having an affair with this woman. He left it all behind. He didn't care what she wanted to say to Potiphar. As long as he knew the truth and God knew the truth, he was all right with that. So he run and he left all his materialistic things. His clothes represent materialistic things, gain, everything. Left it. Because what? It was an illusion. It was a confusion from the enemy. He left that. He left that option. He left that opportunity. He left it. Sometimes we have to discern and see it for what it is. See that the enemy is trying to pull you away from your blessing, pull you away from your purpose. He ran. Potiphar got him, and when the wife went to him with puppy tears, he was trying to rape me. Listen to me. Put poor Joseph into prison. But God had a plan. God had a plan. Because when he was in prison, he was away from it all. That he had time to have patience and talk with God, reason with God. God would teach him, show him the way, lift him up, fill him with a song, fill him with a word, preparing him. Some of you put away it's like you feel like you put away in a dungeons. And all you see is God. You don't see nobody else but God. But God has not forgotten you. God is just putting you there. And every second a song come to you. And every second a word come to you. Every second you hear the voice of God guiding you. Every second you hear this. He hasn't forgotten you. He's preserving you for what he wants to do for you. Now guess what now? This is why it's important to show what God has blessed you with. If God has given you a gift, use it. You could be a bin man. You could be on the corner of the road. Wherever you are, use it. If God has given you the gift to encourage someone, encourage them. If God has given you the gift to brush off a man's shoulder, brush it off. Because guess what? Those persons that was in prison with him, he didn't know just interpreting their simple little dream would get him back in front of Pharaoh in the palace. Did he know that? No. This is why we must have a good heart. He could be gravelicious and malicious and say, I'm in my depression right now. I'm in my situation right now. I have no time for nobody. But no. He looked beyond himself. He saw that they were troubled and he helped them. And he interpreted a dream for them. To give them that peace. To give them that serenity. And one of them, he says to them, don't forget me. Yes, one of them, he forgot him. But when the time came, when it was the right time, God reminded him. And he flashed up before him and he was able to tell Pharaoh that he can interpret his dream. Sometimes we cannot give up hope, Sometimes we have to still have faith, Joseph was in that prison for beyond 7 years, I would say. Beyond 7 years. I think around 10 years or so. Please put it in the comments if I'm wrong. Because, I don't have no pride here. We ain't ashamed to take correction. But let me tell you something. He was in that prison for a good while. But he never lost hope. And guess what? He was in the prison, and in the prison was where he was able to meet his wife. These are some information that was not given out, but this is where he was able to meet his wife. Well, meet a helper, may I say. Sometimes we have people that are put in our life to help us, to bring us to one stage to the other. And then guess what? Before he met Pharaoh, they had to dress him up. They had to clean him up. They had to preserve him. So before God, sometimes you're in that place to yourself and God is cleaning you up. He's preserving you. He's cleansing you. Because there's some things that you still have not dealt with. There's some things that God is still preparing you for. He's teaching you. Because we don't know everything, you know. It's not everything we know. And things that we think we don't see, God sees it. You know, so it's good to just be patient, take your time and be humble. But he humbled. And then Pharaoh was able, he humbled himself, and then Pharaoh was able to call him, and he was able to interpret the dream for Pharaoh. And what happened after that? Then he was able to reach the promise, the covenant that God had made with him, that he saw in that dream. He was able to fulfill it. Sometimes we have to be patient. We have to have faith. We have to be humble. You know? Because everything is a journey. It is an adventure. You don't see, you don't know that these little things that you're going through your life is preparing you for what God has got in store for you. It's when you reach now, then you go, oh, that's why I did that. Because look now, I can do this because of that. You know? So sometimes we have to humble ourselves. And sometimes we have to be patient. And we have to trust in God. Be like that turtle and snail that patiently take the time and go along until they reach. Okay? Patience. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Remember, you don't know what God's got in store for you. So continue trotting on. You will never regret it. All right? Bye.